All right. I want to start off and apologize to all the males in the audience because I'm going to be talking about something that might be kind of awkward for you. I'm going to be talking about periods. You hear girls complain about it all the time, but have you ever thought about how it is for women who don't have access to sanitary products or pain medication? And I know this topic is a little cringy, but it's something that's going on right now in the United States, and I think it's really important to educate yourself on what's going on around us, especially here in California. I'm a girl, and I've taken the time to research different ways women are affected when they don't have resources for menstruation, as well as my junior year, I did research on how homeless women are affected by this. Throughout the speech, I'm going to be going over two different groups of women. I'm going to be going over women who are in prisons and women who are homeless, and different ways people are trying to help them out, as well as ways I believe they should be helped out. So what are ways that women are affected by their period besides just bleeding? There are a lot of symptoms if you know, if you're a girl. So in Krishna Woodwhite's PMS cramps and irregular periods, in the Kids Health Routine Journal, she states that you have sadness, mood swings, tiredness, cramps, bloating, etc., etc. I put in some visual aids for ones that I experience. So I usually get really bad cramps, and I tend to break out, and I also get really moody. So obviously this is already a lot to deal with on its own, and then on top of that you have to bleed for 7 days. So when you don't have the proper resources to help you out with this, it can really create a big burden on you. As well as periods are super expensive. In White's journal, she talked about how women spend about, on average, $300 per year on just sanitary products alone. And I found this in the Huffington Post, and it goes over how much you're going to spend in your lifetime. Of course, chocolate and birth control are optional if you're going to buy them or not, but still, even without it, it's a lot of money, especially for something that we didn't ask for. So the first group of women I want to talk about are women that are in prisons. I found this really interesting, and I found that they're actually really affected by stress. Obviously, they're stressed out because they're in prison, and if you're a girl, you know that when you're stressed out, you can tend to have irregular periods. So irregular periods are when you don't know when your next period is going to come. It could come tomorrow, it could come next year, or it could come in 4 months. So because they have irregular periods, it's really hard for them to prepare for this. In fact, 33% of incarcerated women report having irregular periods. I found that in Jennifer Allsworth's The Influence of Stress on the Menstrual Cycle on Newly Incarcerated Women in the Science Direct. And also, they don't have any money, so how much money do women in prisons make? I found this in Wendy Sawyer, Prison Policy Initiative, and also Samantha Michaels, Getting Your Period in Prison is Hell. In the Mother Jones, she states that women barely make any money, and I found that in California, they make on the low side 8 cents per hour, and then on the high side, 37 cents per hour. So the left graph are regular jobs. The right graph is jobs that are in correctional industries. So I complain all the time about minimum wage, but I think that 8 cents an hour is pretty bad. So what happens is women end up spending their entire month's salary on period products. Why do they want to do that, right? So about 80% of women, which I found in Michael's article, they actually end up making homemade products. So they make these homemade products out of old t-shirts, or toilet paper, or rags, and these products are not meant to be in your body. So what happens is you get a really bad infection, and you end up getting toxic shock syndrome from this. So these are some of the side effects that you get when you have toxic shock syndrome. There's a lot of them, and it can sometimes even be fatal. In fact, recently a woman that was in prison actually had to be taken immediately to the emergency room because she had toxic shock syndrome, and that's really sad because it was caused by not having enough resources for her. So what can be done? I personally think that they should be given some sort of amenity for this, such as reusable pads, because they can easily wash this out, and then it's safer and it's more sanitary for them. But what they have been doing is recently in 2017, they made it so that women in federal prisons are actually able to get free products. However, majority of incarcerated women are in state and local prisons, so that doesn't really help too much. What about periods for homeless women? How can they manage their period when they can barely manage to have enough food or shelter? In fact, in Brittany McNamara's How Periods Perpetuate the Homeless, in 2017, a girl had to decide whether or not she was going to have a meal or period products, which is really sad because both of those are necessities. In Lane Moore's What It's Like to Get Your Period When You're Homeless, in 2015, she states that once she went to a shelter and she asked for some products and she ended up only getting 3 tampons. And if you're a girl, you know that's definitely not enough to last you. So what ends up happening is they do the same thing that women in prisons do, and they end up making homemade products. And that, again, is really unsanitary and it is really dangerous. However, we are making steps in the right direction. And in Emily Burham's article, this Maine woman wants you to donate tampons to the homeless for her birthday. This woman named Tanisha Gilbert actually makes these period packs or period purses. They also make purses for them. So this is what they look like, and they're able to give them out to the homeless. This is really helpful for them and really beneficial. So they are making steps in the right direction. Again, however, I think personally that they should be giving menstrual cups. These are silicone cups, and it doesn't produce any waste. Also, as I stated earlier, girls spend on average $300 a year, but menstrual cups are only $40 a piece, and you can use it throughout the entire year. So $40 or $300, I think that they should be choosing the cheaper option, as well as tampons and pads. You need to dispose of a lot of plastic, and homeless women aren't always accessible to trash cans or bathrooms or soap and water, so this would be a lot easier for them to manage. So if you're going to donate to a homeless shelter, donate that. And in conclusion, periods are a struggle for everyone, even when you do have the resources, especially for women who are homeless or women who are in prisons. They're just trying to get themselves out of a hole. They're trying to take a step forward, but it's really hard for them when they have this burden upon them. And it's really unsanitary and really dangerous for them. And although we are taking steps in the right direction to help out these women, I still think there's a lot to be done. Thank you.